I'm showing you how to check if your phone, in this case the iOS 16 Pro Max is what I'm using, how to run a security scan on your iPhone to regularly to make sure that it is one that you are using the latest iOS version, and also every enabled security checkpoint is working, is functioning as it was supposed to, based on your defined criteria. And I do have the lockdown mode enabled. This is really where you might want to make sure that this feature works for you, because it does restrict third-party content. However, if you do choose to use the lockdown mode, you can always disable it and re-enable it as needed. I keep it enabled. And also the app checks for you if your network connection is good. It will detect any issues within your network, whether you are using your service provider data plan or whether you are on a Wi-Fi. It will check for any issues within your connection. It also checks for a third-party keyboards. If it's detected, it will let you know that. And it also checks, this is especially important for any jailbroken. It is uncommon for iOS, but it is not impossible. Also, if you have a pay subscription, you can run the advanced security scan, which checks for malware and spyware. And that is relatively easy to do that if you have a paid subscription, which I will illustrate more with this app. I will not be able to show you how to do this, but essentially you would, if you aim to go into that direction for the advanced mode, you would do so by running a data analytics, which is a private one in addition to what Apple provides, and it's called Diagnose, and that will generate under the settings, privacy and security, data analytics. There would be a file generated there if you do follow these prompts. By pressing in this case, to do that, you would press the volume, both the up and down simultaneously, along with the right side button to generate this. And it is recommended to do it at least once a month. I just ran one this morning. In fact, I ran two this morning to compare with the data analytics already generated by Apple. Now, how do you run these checkpoints? Once you have the app, it will installed and it is ready to use. All you're doing at this point is just refresh, and it will run a quick refresh here, perform a standard refresh, and you can see here that it just checks if I have the latest iOS version, which I do, and this is the overall result. The lockdown mode is enabled. The VPN is not in use. It checks for that. Also checks for the private relay enabled, and it is enabled. Is the lock screen passcode enabled? Yes, it is. Safe network connection? Yes, the network connection is safe. No issues were detected. The device integrity check, and that is really where it would check for a jailbroken. Again, it is not immune for the iOS. It's good to do that, to check and be on the secure side. And it does, again, check for the advanced security scan to check for malware and spyware. I will show you a file of mine that was generated this morning, and that does require, you do have to be within the paid subscription plan in order to have this feature. Also, it's giving you additional checkpoints here that you can do. I don't think that this is really something that is available. I have not seen this year the developer mode, and to make sure that it's set to off. Here, the advanced security file that I ran this morning. Once you execute those commands, you go into the settings and then privacy and security, and from here you would go under the analytics and improvements. And within the analytics data, this is where the file, you can see here on the bottom, the sysdiagnose that was generated this morning, 6:29, which is today, and I ran 2 of them at these timelines. In order to see the information or the analysis, you have to actually save the file in your chosen location. So I typically would save the file under Files, and I do have a report here, a file that's called specific for the sysdiagnose report, and I save it all here for all the crash reports, everything that I run, to make sure that my device, my iOS 16 Pro Max, is running the way that it's supposed to, and also that all the implemented security features are working and function the way that I intend them to. Now, within this, I guess it's quickly also worth mentioning that the app, you can see the name again on the top there, Am I Secure? I'm using the consumer version. But there's also the enterprise version if you choose, if you are running a small business or if you have a business, there's also the enterprise version. But in this case, I'm using the consumer version of the app.